France and Spain that could compete in the UEFA Nations League final, but who will get their hands on the trophy for the very first time? We'll take a look at that and more next. Another prediction video today. We look forward to the UEFA Nations League final, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe button to keep your bang up to date with all things Nations League related, Blackburn Rovers related, world football related. We're going to all here in the Outer Banks, boys and girls. That's right, we're on a vacation, of course, looking forward to the UEFA Nations League final, and of course two of the biggest nations, not only in European football, but of course world football, will compete for their first crack at the trophy. That's right, of course Portugal are the defending champions, but they are no longer in it, and of course we've also seen the exit of Italy and Belgium, but of course we'll have to do it out to a dead rubber, the old third place competition, or third place match. We'll talk about that as well in just a second. A big shout out to my VRPs, they are my pay tree ons. Big shout out to you guys, but anyway, let's get into it. Okay folks, now before we get to the deep end, let's take a little look back at how we got to this stage. So of course we've just done the semi-finals, but just in case you missed it, here we go. Recap of the groups then. Of course Italy did top group 1 and League A, as did Belgium, as did France, and as did Spain. Those were the 4 nations that made up the semi-finals. Of course, we now have whittled it down to just 2. Unfortunately, like Bosnia, Iceland, Sweden, and Ukraine have been relegated, and they'll be, of course, the next time we have a Nations League in Europe, they will be in a League B. Speaking of League B, these are the teams that will be going up. The likes of Austria, the Czech Republic, Hungary, and Wales will be going promoted, I believe, and the likes of Northern Ireland, Slovakia, Turkey, and Bulgaria will get relegated to League C. It's such a whirlwind, a roller coaster, a roundabout, whatever you want to call it. Of course, a lot of the nations going up and down. Scotland doing okay, and of course maybe next time they could get themselves promoted to League A. Kicking off forward to League C, the likes of Montenegro, Armenia, Slovenia, and Albania will get promoted to League B, with the likes of Cyprus, Estonia, Moldova, and Kazakhstan dropping down to the lowest tier, which of course is Group or League D. And in D, was it D? Oh, sorry, did I miss one? I think I did miss one. In fact, I didn't miss one. Got double here. The likes of the Faroes and Gibraltar, believe it or not, will get promoted to League C. Goodness gracious me. But that's, of course, the situation in the leagues prior to the final. As for next time around, it's a recap of those nations that will be in League A. Of course, the semi-finalists, France, Belgium, Italy, and Spain, they will be in pot 1, and of course will be in their own groups next time around. Then, of course, the likes of Portugal, Netherlands, Denmark, and Germany will be divided into those other respective groups, with England, Poland, Switzerland, Croatia into the third pot, and then, of course, the new boys as well. Same can be said as we go down the ladder here with the Ukraine, Sweden, Bosnia, and Iceland confirmed into League B, and again the respective pots that they will be separated in, and once again down there at the bottom there on that one, I think this is League C. It does show a couple of nations, Kazakhstan or Moldova will be in League C, and the other guy will be in League D. Same can be said for Cyprus and Estonia, and there you go, same deal. But of course, if you want to get involved with the Prediction League, again, I'm not showing you the numbers. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. Well, not in the middle of nowhere, in the Outer Banks. Can't really get to my numbers, so I don't have the time to do it, but the link is open. It has the matches in there, so just go over there, put your picks in, and we'll do have an end of season recap, hopefully when I get back and things calm down a little bit. But anyway, let's talk about the semi-finals then, shall we? It was Italy and it was Belgium, that's right, sorry. So let's talk about the semi-finals then, shall we? Of course, it was Italy and it was Spain. That's why we did lock horns in the first semi-final. Both of these games did take place in Italy. I went with a 2-1 win myself, but unfortunately it was a 2-1 win the other way. Spain go through, Italy crash out, and they will have to duke it out to the the third place playoff. Now this actually is a bit of an extra bonus fact here. Now Spain are the non-linear world champions. Of course, that mantle was passed over to Italy after, of course, France won the World Cup. Italy then beat France for the first time after that in a friendly, or maybe even a Nations League, I don't even know, and they were unbeaten, of course, throughout the European Euro 2020 campaign. Spain have subsequently beaten them now, and they are technically the non-linear world champions. Of course, that could be handed over back to France again, as of course the French made it through to their own final after beating Belgium in a bit of a thriller. I went the 2-0 win for the Belgians myself, and I got it absolutely wrong. It was a 3-2 win going the other way, and of course France will go through to take on Spain in that final, and of course who will come out as the second official UEFA Nations League champions after, of course, Portugal beating it or winning it last round. Let's take a look at, of course, the semi-final, not semi-final, the bronze medal match. Let's get into this one then. I'm not really going to throw away all the stats that you hear. I'm just going to kind of give you a quick overview of this. Doesn't really matter. We will have a prediction before this match. Anyway, these two sides play each other, according to my eyes, 9 times since 1954. 5 wins for Italy, 2 wins for Belgium, and 2 draws. Coming at you, Italy winning, actually just winning once in the past 4 games. Going for a bit of a rut at the moment, of course, after their Euro sensation in the summer. Meanwhile, Belgium coming to just 2 defeats in the past 5 games for them. 67% form for them, and also 67% form for Italy. Last time they played each other, of course, it was actually in the Euros when Italy came out on top with a 2-1 win. In fact, they got back-to-back wins over Italy in the last 2 matches, with Belgium's last win all the way back in November 2015. Of course, Italy coming into this on the back of that match against Spain. Of course, Belgium coming in on the back of that match up against France, of course. Odds on this one: 23-20 is your Italy, 12-5 is your Belgium, 12-5 is also your draw. It's quite tight on this one. Could go either way, but I'm going to back the Belgians on this one. I think Italy are just having a bit of a party time at the moment, trying a bit of a post-Euro 2020 hangover, and they don't really care too much about winning this one. Of course, they want to get themselves ready for, of course, a crack at the World Cup, of course, next winter, of course, or fall, or wherever it is, wherever you are in the world. But let's kick it off forward to that final. Of course, it is Spain, and it is France. These two sides have played each other, of course, 13 times since 1984. Of course, 5 wins for Spain, 6 wins for France, and we've got 2 draws as well. Coming into this, Spain 67% form compared to France's 58. Spain have actually got 3 wins on the bounce. Meanwhile, France unbeaten in the last 4 games and actually just 1 defeat the past 6. However, it's actually been back-to-back wins for them coming into this. Their biggest win over Spain was a 3-1 win. The biggest win their way was a 2-0 win coming at you. Of course, last time they played each other was in a friendly back in March 2017. Spain came out top with a 2-0 win as well. Of course, Spain did beat Italy 2-1 in the first legs. In fact, have a look at it. These are some of the recent encounters. Of course, France's last win was back in 2014 with a 1-0 win in a friendly as well. The games have been quite narrowly, narrow wins either side on this one. Of course, there's been a draw as well way back in the World Cup qualifying campaign back in 2012. Of course, just to recap the groups, of course, France did top the group, of course, with Portugal and Croatia, with Sweden in there as well. Spain handsomely came through their typical group with Germany alongside them as well. But here, of course, it all boils down to this, folks. The trophy is on the line for this one. For my gut feeling on this one, what is my gut feeling? My gut feeling is that France, they've got some really good individuals on this one. Spain, right here, right now, are working like a dream and working like a team, a dream team. They haven't got any real standout superstars that, of course, have got the spotlight on them. Of course, France have got Mbappe, Italy have got Donnarumma between the sticks. They've got other key individuals, but Spain are going under the radar. They're bubbling quite nicely. They have a lot of concerns about their strikers, of course, who's going to lead the charge for them in the World Cup, of course, next season. They do have options, but there's no real superstar standout. But they are all just working together as one, and that is why I think they're going to at least get some hands on some silverware this time around, with, of course, pick up the trophy for the UEFA Nations League. Of course, this is the second trophy, and it will be Spain's first, and of course, it'll be their first bit of silverware since, of course, that magical team way back in, I think it was 2010, something like that, when they were, of course, I think back-to-back Euro winners, something like that. But of course, this will be could be the start of a new era for Spain. And of course, they've got some real good youngsters coming through. Pedri as well. Fati, I think he's also declared for Spain, but I don't think he's going to be involved with this at all at the moment. But that's my picks, boys. That is my picks. I'm going to go with Spain to come out on top with the UEFA Nations League winners, of course. They'll get their hands on the trophy for the very first time. That's it, folks. That's all I've got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash your thumbs up. If you're new, smash your subscribe. Of course, we'll look forward to the Nations League final. Make sure you get your predictions in using the code. But of course, that is pretty much it. Make sure to check out the links down below on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course Patreon. Until then, indeed, I'll see you soon. Until then, we are out.